Many years ago, the great Incan Empire spanned from Ecuador to Argentina. This was its capital. A city so close to the heavens, you could almost touch the clouds. A wondrous land, untouched by the sands of time, rich in tradition and geographic beauty. And that's where we found ourselves. A group of filmmakers, musicians, and of course, friends. We came to Cusco to understand the people and the music that come from this amazing place. Like the color of a flower and the flavor to a spice, the music a society creates can come to define it. The same can be said for the instruments used to play this music. So we set out on a brisk Cusqueñan morning to the Plaza de San Blas. That's where we met Holly Whistler, a professor of ethnomusicology and a true admirer of the music in the Andes. Holly has been living in Peru since 1982 and has done extensive research on the music of the region. She took us to meet a local man named Sabino. Sabino is a third-generation craftsman who builds traditional Peruvian instruments out of a modest workshop in the hills of Cusco. It was clear to see that he was a man that took pride in learning a trade and working with his hands. Unfortunately, like the sacred condor of Peru, Sabino is also an endangered species.
Yo siento que lo que estoy haciendo, estoy dando algo de mí, va algo, ¿no? Algo de mi vida en eso, entonces yo tengo que poner mucho cariño en lo que estoy haciendo, mucho amor, mucho sentimiento, ¿no? Y mucha concentración también. La música es parte de la vida. Sin la música pienso que no hay vida. La música es el que genera, revoluciona la vida del hombre. Entonces la música es parte de nosotros. Es que nos podemos entender todos, es una sola idioma que hablamos con la música. Mientras que cuando hablamos no nos entendemos a veces, pero con la música sí nos entendemos todos.
It's the universal language.
Idioma universal, ¿no?
Sabino's repertoire is vast, but he is best known for his charango, a popular Andean instrument that was once made from the shell of an armadillo, but is now carved from a single block of wood.
Bueno, la madera ya está seca esto. Esto tiene un año de estar así como esa, claro. Porque esta madera, como decíamos hace rato, hay que trabajar mojado porque seco es difícil de hacerlo.
So tú tienes que planificar un año para hacer un charango.
Claro.
You have to plan 1 year
Sí.
for, it's 1 year
Sí.
then to make a charango.
It's amazing.
Y cuando ya seco se necesita, cuando ya está todo listo, para acabado 15 días total.
Okay, so then when it's dry and he starts working it like he's working it now, about 15. ¿Quieres pararte ahí para explicar? Do you want him to go over there and explain? He was starting to explain.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Un espesor muy fino. Mi abuelo también hacía, ¿no? Entonces de ahí heredó mi papá. Y yo he heredado de mi papá, ¿no? Pero lamentablemente mis hijos, no, ninguno de ellos está haciendo instrumentos. Están dedicándose a sus estudios, son profesionales y todos están desenvolviéndose en su profesión, ¿no? Se están yendo a trabajar a otros lugares. Y me siento triste porque pienso que lo que sé hacer se va a irse conmigo.
Before we left Sabino's shop, he offered to play an original song for us. Just like his story, the notes he plucked were as beautiful as they were melancholy.
Solo que el frío.
They want this.
Ya.
As I watched Sabino play, I saw a man torn between two worlds, existing between the traditions of the past and the changing times of the present. While the effects of modern technology and globalization are what brought us to his doorstep, I began to wonder if these conveniences would help to preserve Sabino's legacy, or perhaps spell the end of his art form as he knows it. After our experience with Sabino, we returned to our hostel, the Samai Wasi. Translated from Quechua, its name means the resting house. And that's just what it was. A humble place for travelers to lay their heads and clear their minds. We took the time to regroup here, for we knew that the following day, we were going to meet with the last remaining descendants of the Incan Empire. The Caros are a group of people who live in the remote Andean region of Peru. They live a traditional lifestyle. They worship mountain gods called Apus. To the Caros, music is a gift to the gods. We met them on the outskirts of Cusco and followed them into the foothills. The coca leaf plays an important role in the Caros society. It's the principal ingredient in cocaine. However, the Caros have many uses for it. The leaf is used in sacred rituals and helps to maintain energy while working in high altitudes. It is also used in social gatherings. Because of its narcotic properties, there has been a push from outside countries to eradicate the cultivation of the coca leaf. However, groups like the Caros insist that it is part of their cultural tradition. We chewed coca with the Caros for half an hour. Then we began to discuss their music.
Significa apoman o Pachamama en el primero chant carnaval pe tukay. Nunca tukay te echaran 6-7 años. Papalera juego tocan allá tocas humana. Ateranera humana atespa papero ascan papalera por chanda nunca tukay te echan.
Ki to kana ta phino ka pon ro pero ana ya char khane chi ban le ya chan ki tikban ro ita fechan ki ornal ki nam ko kurma porski tro china pon khare to kan warmit khata ki lo ma kuna pe aina bai ko sobre na carnaval pe pska khlet carnaval pe masta carnaval ji fiesta kuna pascuas carnaval ji masta ji costumbre armitaikin harta tokaiku ai Son Juan ya tokui Son Juan.
The music the Caros create is as striking as their colorful outfits against the harsh landscape. The men all play flutes called pincuyos, individually hand-carved, a skill passed down through generations. The women sing in a trance-like state. They look off into the distance and hold each note until their breath escapes them completely.
So, do any of you listen to any music from the United States or any other countries?
Cancún oyerangisios música Estados Unidos música manta claro que claro música que não está precisando.
Mana. No, I haven't heard anything. I haven't heard anything from the States.
Now this is some music from the U.S. So I'd like to kind of see what you guys think about this.
Estados Unidos, Manta.
Estados Unidos está aquí.
Their reaction to our music was fascinating. Some of them danced, some of them laughed, and some of them just listened quietly and respectfully. They told us that our music too could appease the mountain gods.
Munaita means lovely.
Lovely.
Nice.
Okay. Cool.
Good.
Cool.
Munaita.
At the end of our time with the Caros, they prepared a despacho, an offering to the Apus, or mountain gods.
Pachatusan, Hampoy. Sawasire, Pitusire, Pumabanca, Hampi Kunan, Tautimarca, Hampi Kunan, Kipa, Saikrukunap, Kunan, Somaja, Yankaita, Trabajoto, Salusta, Wasimpe, Causainimpe, Anagama Faltachun, Kunan, Hampichis, Kunan, Hampichis, 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 Hampichis.
After a prayer was said, we all sat quietly as they performed the ritual. We parted ways with the Caros and headed back to the city, feeling humbled and energized. Their kind spirit was contagious, and their connection to Mother Nature was impressive. Through our experiences thus far, it appeared that Cusco was a place deeply rooted in ancestral tradition, a world away from the life we knew back home. But with all things in this global age, information can spread at the speed of light. And within a single generation, society can change drastically. It wasn't long before we met a group of people who embodied that philosophy.
So we're here with our buddies over here in the rap group. ¿Cómo se llama el grupo?
Ocupacha.
Ocupacha. Okay, these guys are rappers in Cusco, and just gonna hang out for a little while, drink some beers, and kind of get down to some questions with these guys. So tal vez me puede explicar el nombre del grupo, ¿por qué?
Ocupacha.
Ocupacha, ¿por qué?
Ocupacha es una palabra en quechua que significa subterráneo, underground. Es donde, o sea, en el misticismo, en las creencias de los incas, creían en tres espacios, que es el Ucupacha, el Caipacha, ¿no es cierto? Caipacha, donde estamos ahora, y el Hanampacha, que es arriba. Entonces, donde hay distintos seres, dioses y todo eso. Entonces, abajo es el Ucupacha y algo relacionado también al que hacemos música underground.
Underground music.
Entonces, es Ucupacha.
¿Por qué haces rap? ¿Por qué cantas rap? ¿Por qué escoges rap?
Porque creo que el rap es una música que llega actualmente, más conocida y que por la forma en la que se puede trabajar, ¿no? El rap. No necesitas instrumentos, no necesitas de repente de un estudio de grabación muy complejo. Only you need a mic, a beat, un simple beat, o también puedes hacerlo en cualquier esquina, en cualquier calle, ponerle un beatbox y unas rhymes y ya está. Tienes de manera muy fácil, es más fácil hacer hip hop, creo. Están las posibilidades de todos.
¿Ustedes toman mucha influencia de los otros rappers de Estados Unidos, otros países, o solamente aquí en Cusco?
Tomamos sí un poco, tratamos de aprender un poco de los otros para poder estar
tratar de llevar un performance mejor, tratar de tener mejor letra, buena rima y muchas cosas, ¿no? Tratamos también de aprender un poco de los extranjeros.
Okay.
Sí.
Tal vez hay una rapper que conocemos de Estados Unidos que les gustan a ustedes.
Bueno, a mí me gusta Tupac Shakur.
Tupac Shakur, West Coast.
Sí,
Okay.
Notorious Big.
Biggie Smalls.
Biggie Smalls?
Biggie Smalls.
Ok, entre los dos, Tupac Shakur, Biggie Smalls, ¿quién es mejor?
Ay, yo pienso que Biggie Smalls has buen flow.
Yeah, buen flow.
ritmo.
Okay.
And it's more commercial.
Mhm.
Pero Tupac tenía buenas ideas,
Ay.
más social y cosas así.
Entonces, ¿qué es la identidad de hip hop cusqueño?
La identidad de hip hop cusqueño, a mi parecer, ¿no? Es de que el hip hop, para empezar, es un movimiento, creo, un movimiento, una cultura mundial.
Ujú.
Pero acá la identidad que tratamos de darle es hablar de las cosas que vemos, que sentimos acá, de los problemas, de las necesidades, de las cosas felices que puedan pasar en nuestro entorno. Y no olvidarnos de que somos cusqueños en todo eso, ¿no? Esa es la identidad que le damos al hip hop. Y también con la música, claro, ahí poniéndole guainos, poniéndole quenas, poniéndole zampoñas. Esa es la identidad que le damos a nuestro hip hop.
Hip hop music has always been used as a platform to tell a story. And that is exactly what Ucapacha are doing. In a beautiful display of cultural exchange, they use an art form with American origins to create a memoir of the Peruvian experience.
Orgulloso de mi tierra, donde nací en Cusco, así yo soy real en sí, de mi patria lo que tengo es real, de Cusco soy el perro chusco, el quechua yo te lo traduzco, hace tiempo te lo digo, te lo hago, disculpa si estamos tomando un par de tragos, es que es así para poder...
Para mí, bueno, para mí música significa todo, ¿no? Es mi momento de relajo, mi momento de desahogarme, mi momento de... es todo para mí, ¿no? Yo represento la música.
La música es un elemento fundamental que alguien con mucha habilidad puede utilizarlo para expresar sus sentimientos, cómo se siente, expresar todo lo que quiera, ¿no? Y ahora, si tenemos la habilidad de poder hacer música, hacer hip hop, es muy bueno, ¿no?
Esa es la máxima expresión de que somos humanos.
Right.
Si no hubiera música, no seríamos humanos.
That's as clear as it can be. He said it's the maximum way to express that we're humans. If there's no music, we're not humans. It's pretty deep. Muy profundo, ¿no?
The more time we spent with the Ucapacha crew, the better we began to understand the narrative of our trip. Cusco's urban center was a sharp contrast from the surrounding foothills. And Ucapacha's basement studio was quite different from the handmade flutes of the Caros. Yet it all existed simultaneously. It's a delicate dance to balance traditional values with the ability to compete in a modern world. Yet it seems to be the identity crisis that our generation must face.
That was awesome, man. That was awesome. That was awesome, man. Good job. Cool.
At this point in our trip, we had come to see the music of Cusco as serving many purposes. For some, music was a way to continue a family tradition, a form of artistic expression and cultural preservation. For others, it was a way to speak to the gods and communicate with the spirits of the earth. However, we had yet to explore one of the most universal aspects of music. Music has an uncanny ability to make us feel. It is often a simple combination of rhythm and melody that is responsible for dancing, emotions, and celebration. If music is the language of the world, then dance is the art of conversation. There is a place on this earth where the lines between fantasy and reality are blurred. This place is a remote Andean village called Paucartambo. Once a year, people from all over Peru come here to witness and participate in a marvelous display of music, costume, and dance. All of this in devotion for their patron saint, the Virgin del Carmen. Our journey to Paucartambo began in Cusco with this man, Wilhelm. Wilhelm and his family have been going to the Virgin del Carmen festival for nearly 40 years. As a foreigner, it is extremely difficult to find your way to Paucartambo. But Wilhelm was kind enough to allow us to ride with him.
Ya, Willy, vamos a orar un rato, ¿ya? En nombre del Padre, del Hijo, del Espíritu Santo. Señor, te pedimos que guíes nuestro camino y que en este viaje todo sea bueno para nosotros. Bendito Dios, te agradecemos por esta oportunidad que nos das de ir al santuario de tu Madre. Gracias, Señor, y que sea para bien y para la paz de cada uno de nosotros y el crecimiento de nuestras almas este viaje. Así sea. Amén.
So is this?
Just stopped on this road kind of an hour outside of Cusco. All of a sudden we hear just a little tired.
¿Serio?
Of all the places to have a flat tire, it could be worse, you know? Wow. So we're back on the road now. Tire change took all of maybe 15 minutes, super fast. All it is. We're 2 hours out, so we got another 2 hours. Maybe we'll sing some more songs. We'll see what happens. Hopefully no more flat tires though. Almost there. We just got to Paucartambo. It's about 2 p.m. almost. It was about a 3-hour ride. The last part was pretty rough. No paved roads, just completely like sidewinding. Some of us got a little sick, but we made it out on top, feeling good. And yeah, we're gonna go see what this place is all about.
When we first arrived to Paucartambo, it had seemed as though we had entered a ghost town. Yet there was a feeling in the air that something was about to happen.
So Sam, how would you describe what you've seen here at Paucartambo today?
It's totally a magical little town. It's narrow streets, lots of white, lots of blue. Just blends right into the hillside, surrounded by hillside. It's wonderful, and the energy is just brewing for this festival.
After showing us around town, Wilhelm invited us to watch his family's dance group rehearse for the festivities. Watching the rehearsal gave us our first real taste of what to expect from the days to come. Wilhelm's family is part of a group called the Capac Negro. They represent the revolting slaves of Peru's past. They are one of nearly 30 dance groups, or danzas. Each danza tells the story of a particular piece of Peruvian society.
Expect to have that song to have. Yeah. But yeah, man, there's some really cool tunes. Yeah, it's great. This guitar is
it lends itself to playing some nice tunes, doesn't it? Packing my bags, people will be generous.
Todas las mañanas vienen y toman desayuno acá, ¿ya?
Está bien. Gracias.
When we woke the next morning, we had come to find that Paucartambo had transformed overnight. Musicians performed in the streets, and the smell of burning Palo Santo wood filled the air. What was once an empty village, marked by its solitude, sprung to life with excitement and anticipation. Everyone took their positions, and then, monsters. They came in hordes down from the hillside. Cloaked in masks and vibrant red costumes, they entered the village screaming with their whips raised to the sky. They call them the Danza Macta. They stand to represent the local farmers and are tasked with keeping order during the 3-day festival. Anyone who steps out of line could be whipped, chastised, or worse. Their arrival marked the true beginning of the festival. And once they made their presence felt, the spectacle began. It was like something out of a dream, the likes of which I had never seen. A psychedelic fantasy of colors, costumes, and characters. One by one, the dancers approached the village, each ensemble as elaborate as it was unique. They danced and sang as they maneuvered the crowded streets and made their way towards the main plaza. As the day turned to night, the excitement grew, but we never expected what we saw next. The temperature dropped quickly as night fell, and everyone struggled to squeeze into the main plaza. Men in white masks lit fire to bales of hay that lined the streets. Flames flickered against their menacing silhouettes.
We're right in the middle of the town square right now, and we got dudes just running all over the place with fireworks. No rhyme or reason to what's going on as far as I can see. There's fire pits all over the place, and they put chilies in the fire pits. So what's happening is everybody's eyes they're crying from the smoke. So they're crying for the Virgin, essentially. It's absolutely crazy. It's hard to breathe. It's hard to see what's going on, but it's really intense. Really powerful energy here. So, man, so far out.
The toxic cloud billowed thick as a large wooden structure was hoisted into the air. Within moments, the sky became illuminated. In that moment, the tiny village of Paucartambo became the brightest star in the universe. The events that night kicked off a party that would last well into the morning. And on the final night of the festival, the Virgin del Carmen was paraded through the streets. We looked on graciously as the entire town sang her praise. It is said that it is better to travel well than to arrive. And that was our philosophy as we made our way to our final stop in Peru. Braving switchbacks and winding roads, we sailed through the cloud forest and into the sky.
All right, we just did about a 7-hour drive through the mountains. We're at Hydroelectrica, about to hike to Machu Picchu, Aguascalientes. There's about 1 million people here, so we're gonna try to get there before them. So let's go.
We walked for hours along the rusty train tracks. Racing against the sun, we headed towards the town of Aguas Calientes, at the base of Machu Picchu. It is nearly impossible to convey the feeling of seeing Machu Picchu in person. To watch the mist rise with the sun as the morning awakens. It is silence and it is beauty. Machu Picchu is a relic from a long time ago. It reminds us of what we once were and what we have come to be. In a way, it symbolizes our entire experience in Peru. A land that exists in both yesterday and tomorrow. A community that cherishes its past and saves a place for it in its future. That is the essence of this region. And it is echoed by the people and music that exist here.